Hi, this is Andrea Schulman again, and recently I got another question on YouTube asking me if I could make a video on attracting like-minded friends with the law of attraction. And indeed I can, and I will today in this video. But before that, if you are watching this video on my webpage or on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe because I do post new law of attraction tips every week. And also, if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, please make sure to turn on your notifications so that you see these videos when they come out. All right, but let's go ahead and get into this question about attracting like-minded friends with the law of attraction. All right, now in my experience, when somebody wants to attract like-minded friends, usually the reasoning falls into one of two camps. The first camp is that that person has just had a hard time connecting with people in general. And so if this has been your experience where you've had a hard time just making friends in general, I really do recommend that you watch another video of mine called The Secret to Attracting People. And I'll go ahead and link that one up in the description because that will give some useful tips on how to attract people in general into your life. And connecting with people is a really valuable skill and one that you'll want to develop when it comes to attracting friends. Now, the second reason why people come to me and ask me about attracting friends with the law of attraction, like-minded friends, is because frequently this means that the person has had a shift in interest. So let me go ahead and give you a common one. Here's a very common one in this community. With some people, they may have found that recently, within the last few years or so, they have shifted into a new awareness. Maybe they've had a spiritual awakening, or maybe they've been introduced to the law of attraction, and suddenly they've gravitated towards a whole new set of interests. So a lot of times people have come to me and say, okay, well now I'm really interested in the law of attraction and metaphysics and astrology and all these kinds of different metaphysical, spiritual type topics, and my group of friends doesn't really reflect those interests. Now, if you're in this category, a couple things to mention. The first thing is that you probably already did manifest like-minded friends. So if this is your situation where you find yourself and you just can't really connect with your friends anymore, you may want to understand that in the past, you really did connect with those people. It's just now your interests have changed and you've developed some patterns of thinking that these people think this way, they don't think this way. Now, if this has been your experience, it's okay because all of this can be shifted. Now, one thing to understand is that if you're coming from that situation where your interests have changed, but the people that you're friends with or the people that are in your crowd, their interests have stayed the same. One thing to understand is that the people in that group are multifaceted and they may be receptive to the same kind of ideas and information that you are. Now, this isn't to say that you should force feed your ideas on your friends, but one thing that can be useful is to be open about your interests with the people that you're hanging out with, because sometimes what we do is we shut our mouth and we don't want to talk about those things too much because we're going to feel that they're going to be interpreted as weird or out there or crazy. And so if you're able to speak your truth and talk about your interests and the things that you're interested in, that is a good idea for a couple of reasons. One, if there are people in your group of friends who are somewhat interested or receptive to that information, now you're kind of reaching your hand out to connect on that level. Secondly, and more importantly, truthfully, is that if you're comfortable expressing your interests and the things that you like, you're going to get more and more comfortable expressing those things publicly. And that's very important when it comes to attracting like-minded friends, because friends are a public kind of relationship. And so the people that you're going to match with are going to match you on the public front that you're putting out. And so I'm just mentioning this because if you have interests in the metaphysical or the law of attraction and it's kind of something that you're keeping inside, understand that that's kind of a closeted interest. It's not your public persona. So the more that you can speak to those interests, the better it's going to be for you to connect with people on those kinds of levels. Another thing that can be very helpful, again, is to work with your public persona, your public image, and to kind of wear your interests on your sleeve. And so what I mean by this is if you're somebody who's interested in things like spirituality, You might want to get involved in more public spirituality type things, like go to events, join classes, join communities, be connecting with people publicly on those interests. Again, a lot of times we have interests, but again, they're closeted. We go to work and our work is one way, we're around our friends are one way, and we're not really living in those interests. So the more that you can be out and about in public places, communicating with people publicly on the things that you like, the more likely that you are going to connect with more and more friends who reflect the same interests that you have. All right, so when it comes to attracting friends, like-minded friends with the law of attraction, remember, first of all, you got to be good at connecting with people. And again, if that's a skill set that's just not quite there, perfectly fine. I've got a suggestion that will really help you in the video on attracting people. And again, that's linked up in the description. On top of that though, if you found that your interests have suddenly changed, understand that your interests have to be a public thing that is shining out, because people cannot connect with you on the things that you're holding in privately. So be vocal about your interests, talk about them with people, not for the purpose of trying to convert people or change people, but for the purpose of being authentic to who you are, and also get out in those arenas where people are hanging out publicly on those interests that you're interested in, okay? I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Again, please make sure to subscribe and to turn on your notifications, and thanks for watching.